Let's be brutally honest, women don't lose interest overnight. Attraction doesn't just vanish. It fades, slowly, painfully, and almost always because of one thing. You stop being the man she was drawn to in the first place. And here's the part nobody tells you. Women rarely leave the moment they lose interest. They leave long before, in silence, while you're still trying to figure out what went wrong. If you've ever been ghosted, blindsided by a breakup, or watch her texts go from paragraphs to one-word answers, this video will explain exactly why it happened, and more importantly, how to make sure it never happens again. Welcome back to Unshakable You, where we cut through the lies about dating and attraction to give men the raw, psychological truths that actually work. If you've ever felt the sting of rejection, if you've ever asked yourself, why do women lose interest in me? Or, why do they seem so excited at first, but then pull away? This video is your answer. Because here's the hard truth. Attraction isn't about looks, money, or flashy tricks. It's about energy, value, and consistency. And if you don't understand how attraction really works, you'll keep repeating the same mistakes. But don't worry. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand why women lose interest, you'll know exactly how to keep her hooked in a way that feels natural, authentic, and powerful. Step 1. She loses interest when you stop being a challenge. Think back to the beginning of your last relationship or situationship. She was curious about you. She wondered what you were doing when you weren't texting her back immediately. She felt the thrill of not knowing if she'd won you over yet. That uncertainty. It created excitement. But here's the mistake men make. Once they feel secure, they start pouring everything into the relationship. Constant texting. Dropping plans. Becoming overly available. At first, she feels flattered. But over time, what happens? She no longer feels the chase. She no longer feels that spark of uncertainty that made her heart race. And slowly, the interest fades. The truth is, people value what they have to earn. If you hand over your attention, time, and energy on a silver platter, without balance, you kill the tension that fuels attraction. Want to keep her hooked? Stay focused on your purpose. Make her part of your world, not the entire world. Step 2. She loses interest when you ignore emotional connection. Attraction might spark because of looks, confidence, or charisma, but it only lasts if there's emotional connection. Here's the mistake most guys make. They think showing interest means showing off, flexing money, status, or confidence. But the reality: women lose interest when they realize you're not actually seeing them. Think about it, when she shares her day, are you just nodding and waiting for your turn to talk? Or are you paying attention, remembering details, and reflecting them back later? For example, she tells you she's stressed about a project at work. A low-value response is, "Don't worry, you'll be fine." A high-value response is, "That's tough. You've been putting in extra hours lately, no wonder you're drained." One shows dismissal, the other shows awareness. Here's the truth. Women aren't obsessed with you being perfect. They're obsessed with being understood. Lose that, and you lose them. Keep it, and they'll feel like nobody else gets them the way you do. Step 3. She loses interest when you stop leading. This one stings, but it's crucial. Women naturally feel attraction to men who embody direction and leadership, not in a controlling way, but in a grounded, intentional way. In the beginning, you probably initiated dates, made plans, and have vision. But over time, maybe you started waiting for her to decide where to eat, what to do, where the relationship is going. And slowly, she stopped looking at you as the man she could follow, because you stopped leading. This doesn't mean you need to dominate. Leadership in dating is about decisiveness. It's about saying, "Friday night, 7 p.m, there's this new spot I want us to try." When you abdicate leadership, she feels she has to step into it, and that kills polarity. Suddenly she feels like the driver, and you're the passenger. And nothing erodes attraction faster than reversing those roles. Remember, leadership isn't control, it's clarity. And clarity is magnetic. Step 4. She loses interest when you get comfortable too soon. Attraction thrives on growth, not stagnation. One of the biggest mistakes men make is believing that work ends once she's interested. At the start, you hit the gym, you pursued goals, you were ambitious. She saw you as a man on a mission. But as soon as you felt secure, you got comfortable. You stopped pushing yourself. You stopped surprising her. You stopped growing. Here's the hard truth. Comfort is the silent killer of attraction. Women aren't drawn to the man who once was ambitious, they're drawn to the man who keeps evolving. Think of it this way, when you stop growing, she stops seeing a future with you. But when you continue to level up, physically, mentally, emotionally, she stays hooked because she feels she's with a man who's going somewhere. Attraction isn't about who you were when you met her, it's about who you're becoming while you're with her. Step 5. She loses interest when you neglect polarity. This one's subtle but powerful. Relationships are built on polarity, the natural dance between masculine and feminine energy. When polarity is alive, attraction feels electric. When it's dead, interest fades. Here's how it happens. Early on, you showed confidence, presence, and masculine direction. She responded with playfulness, softness, and openness. The balance felt magnetic. But then, you softened your edges. You stopped leading. You started people-pleasing. You dimmed your masculine energy to avoid conflict or to make her happy. And without realizing it, you killed the polarity that made the connection feel alive. When polarity dies, relationships turn into friendships. Respect fades. Desire disappears. The fix. Reclaim your role. Stand firm in your boundaries. Lead with clarity. Bring back the energy that created the spark in the first place. Polarity isn't about roles or rules, it's about balance. And when you keep that balance alive, her attraction to you stays alive too. Step 6. The biggest secret. She loses interest when you lose yourself. Here's the final and most important truth. Women lose interest the moment you lose yourself. Think about it. When you first met, you had a life. Hobbies. Ambition. Purpose. A sense of direction. She was attracted to you because you had your own world, and she wanted to be invited into it. But slowly, you started revolving your entire life around her. You cancelled plans. You gave up passions. You stopped prioritizing your mission. And without realizing it, you became dependent. That's when attraction dies. Not because she wanted less attention, but because she wanted you to stay the man she fell for. The biggest secret to keeping her hooked. Never abandon yourself for the relationship. When you protect your identity, your purpose, and your self-worth, you don't just keep her interested, you keep yourself magnetic. So here's the takeaway. Women don't lose interest because attraction is random. They lose interest when you stop being the man you were when they chose you. Keep the challenge alive. Build emotional connection. Lead with clarity. Keep growing. Protect polarity. And most of all, never lose yourself. Because the truth is, keeping her hooked isn't about playing games, it's about staying rooted in who you are. If this video gave you clarity, hit that like button right now. It tells YouTube this message needs to reach more men like you. Subscribe to Unshakable You for more psychology backdating truths every single week. And drop a comment below. Which of these mistakes have you caught yourself making? And what standard are you committing to raise today? Remember this, the right woman doesn't want all of you. She wants the best version of you. Don't dim it. Don't lose it. That's how you stay unforgettable.